6. Wayne Dyer reports.
A century of Fitzroy history was everywhere before the game. But once the ball was bounced, Richmond took centre stage and set about creating some history of their own. Richardson marked anything that came his way but couldn't convert. Rogers couldn't miss, booting 3 in the opening term.
So Rogers gets his second, and ominous signs now for Fitzroy.
Captain Courageous Boyd finally nailed one for the Roys, wearing his tattooed heart on his sleeveless arm. Richardson's back needed attention, but it didn't stop him helping his teammates to the spoils.
Is Broderick and has kicked the goal.
No one could dislike the Lions today, but the Tigers showed little mercy, threading 6 for the term, 49 points the better at half-time. With a place in the 8 at stake, there was no sympathy from Richmond. They battered the Lions with 18 second-half goals. Richardson and Benny Gale unstoppable.
Somewhat of a rout is developing here.
There was some joy for the Roy boys, but a record-losing margin ensured the Maroons' Melbourne Swan Song became a funeral dirge instead of the celebration of a century. Wayne Dyer, National 9 News.
By Richmond, but what about the lap after the game?
These are great scenes here with Fitzroy getting a standing ovation from Richmond supporters who have joined in the Fitzroy theme song. And you can't help but be moved by what is taking place at the moment.
Yes, particularly when you think some of the battles, Ross, over the years that we've had against Fitzroy. They had their good times, they've had a lot of tough times, and it's taken 100 years for them to finally succumb to the pressures, I suppose, of the modern football as we know it in AFL.
Been great respect paid to them too by everyone here, which is just outstanding. As Sandy mentioned, the last 5 minutes, it appeared as if no one left, and rightly so, they've stayed there just to make sure they pay their last respects as such. And it was also great to see the Richmond players applaud the Fitzroy group as they ran past, as well as the Richmond match committee and respective people. They're going to be careful here now.
They're going to lose control here now because a couple have started running onto the ground now, a couple of 100 have, and Richmond on this side of the ground has decided that's it, boys.
Headed for Brisbane at the end of the season.
The result on the scoreboard was far from flattering, but it didn't matter. The Lions were still heroes. Their fans' feelings clear, openly mourning the end of a long and proud tradition.
Well, it's a pretty sad day for me. This will be the last time I come to the footy.
But amid the sadness, many happy memories.
86, when Mickey Conlon kicked the goal. Last goal there, and we won by a point or something. And then the following week, when we beat Sydney by 5 points.
And a hint of bitterness.
And, unfortunately for Fitzroy, the power brokers won in the end. You can't beat City Hall, as they say.
For the men in the middle, regret that they couldn't give their fans a better farewell.
I was pretty disappointed. I mean, we felt that the history of the club deserved a pretty good performance, and to that extent, we were pretty disappointed. I guess shattered in a way that that the result panned out the way it did.
We had a very positive feeling going into the game, and everyone had the best intentions to really put on a very good result for ourselves and for the people who'd come along and perhaps suffered for so long. So I've really got no explanation for it at all.
To the AFL ladder now, and a look at the top 3 teams explains why 3 of the finals will be held outside of Melbourne. Brisbane and Sydney at the top. Brisbane.
And a Melbourne Guernsey.
No, I gave Alan Jones a 9, and I think Scotty a 9.5. That was just fantastic. That little Velcro props was just magnificent.
Had a tough year last year, and just to see a lot of the people that, you know, I spent probably so much of my time with over the years, it's, I thought I'd be all right, but I'll tell you what, it's very hard to see the club just go.
Farewell, old Roy boys, fare thee well. The times you made this proud heart swell. I'll cherish forever the maroon and blue. Adieu, my dear Fitzroy. Adieu.
Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever seen anything like it? Kevin Sheedy has started a tradition.
They had Berber Coffee, was the other guy, the trainer, was he?
Barnard.
No, that wasn't Barnard, it was nobody. I think it was Neville Nobody.
On here at Footy Park, and we'll be back to discuss the first half after a short break.